Hello, welcome to Driven It. The Chinese are invading the roads, so you better get used to it. More after this. What do I have here? I have the Skywell BE11, I think you say, or Bell. I think it's BE11 to be honest with you. It is just under the magic £40,000. This is the long range with 400 and something miles of range, which apparently it can do around town and stuff. And yeah, it is just under £40,000. And it doesn't qualify for the UK's government incentive of we'll give you some money off if you buy an EV car. Please buy an EV car because we want to sell EV cars. No, because it's Chinese, you see, and they're not going to do it. They go, no. See, it's a bit like when the Japanese came in with the cars. Very similar to the Japanese cars, and I'll get onto that a bit later. Ooh. But yes, they're not offering the incentives. Skywell, however, will, and as of today, which is September 2025, they are giving you £6,000 off, which makes this incredibly cheap. And it is quite a lot of car for not a lot of money, and the camera's going down. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. All, however, is not in its favour. It does a few things that really does annoy me, and I'll show you. You open up the boot, it makes this horrible, horrible beeping noise, and the boot is all right. However, to fold down the seats, you've got to lean in. Now, I'm all right, 6'1", I can lean in and I can sort of reach it, and yeah, then there's a problem when you fold down the seats. It's just. But the other problem I have is when you shut the boot. It's one of my favourite things. I just. Oh, fuck! That is absolute too much. That just comes down to crush you. However, nice page boot shuts, but there is something quite nice inside. Once you get over the initial annoyance of the seat folding, you see, here we have the rear seat folding down, and it brings back the armrest, and this doesn't fold flat. So it's not really that practical. I'm slightly interrupting myself. One, to actually apologise for the appalling sound quality, because if you go into the outtakes, the GoPro just stops working. It just crashes within its media mod, and I am beyond my senses with a GoPro, and I am moments away from now buying another camera, and I'm going to film myself destroying this shoddy piece of shit. Anyway, speaking of shoddy, because it really is, I've just done that piece that I'm talking about, folding the rear seat on the Skywell BE11, and I went back to the people and I went, oh, blah, 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 and I said, yeah, I said, one thing's not really good. I said, how do you fold down that rear seat? I said, that folding, I said, is not good. And they went, oh no, the seat squab does fold flat. And I went, oh, okay. I said, because I was yanking. I said, and I couldn't really see anything to make it fold flat. I tell you now, it is appalling. And as much as when I've gone through the review and you sort of go, it sounds quite nice, the Skywell BE11, it has got some really, really crap things. And this folding the rear seat, I like practicality, and that's why I'm going on about it. Because to fold the rear seat, I can't really do it in the Visa, because the Citroen Visa seats fold down differently. But I'm going to sit here and just show you. What you have to do is you grab hold of the seat squab and you yank it up, where it then comes on this little hinge, disconnect a wire, which has obviously got the sensor in for the rear seat belts. And I was like, well, that won't last 5 fucking minutes, and you'll forget plugging that back in. Oh, actually, for the higher reward, people just gonna. And then you tip it up, and then you can get the seat squabs down. But this seat squab comes down, or up and over, in one piece. But the rear seats are split folded. And yeah, I mean, as much as it's got some nice features and it is a bit of a parts bin special in some places, that really, really isn't good. And when I go through this review and you'll go, oh, you keep going on about European standards, take for granted what the Europeans have given us as motorists, because they do make some of the most phenomenal bits of kit, like the Visa with its folding rear seat. How simple is that? And these also come out, right? But anyway, yeah, I had to sort of
intersperse this because after I got back, that's when they told me this is what the receipt does. It's not good.
Practical. However, you want to put your friends in there and you all want to go away to the beach for the day, you can get 3 in here quite comfortably. And that's me as a driver. This thing has acres of room inside. And you know what? It's not a bad place to sit. We've got panoramic roof. We've got lightness in the materials used at the top. Plastically leather inserts. But then you've got some suede effect, which is nice, with a bit of orange pinstriping. However, slightly clashes with everything because we've got these natty door cards with this lovely wood trim and sort of like bronze chrome. And it's sort of quite nice. And speaker grills that I can touch without going, ugh. They're sort of, yeah, they're nice. It's, yeah, quite pleasant inside. So, you know, there is good and bad to be had with this. However, there is another serious problem. I hope that's not going. That's not nicely painted. Right, there is another quality issue here. If you like to look there, that's unpainted. That is not good. That is not up to European standards. And this is where the problem lies. You see, European standards. Because today, I think it's the 19th of September 2025, I put something up on YouTube moaning about VW and their subscription charge for the ID3 about extra performance. This doesn't have a subscription charge, and this is under £40,000 and now considerably less with that £6,000 off. But you know what? Just sitting here at the front, you sort of go, yeah, it's all right. It's just, everything falls neatly to hand. It's very old. And I mean that nicely. It's just some of the switchgear, it's got moulding lines on it. And you look at some of the switchgear and you go, now, where have I seen that from before? Because it does look a bit like a part's been special. But that's not a bad thing because it does make for good and it is cheap. Cheap, cheap, cheap. This is where the Chinese are going to get you. And this is what they did to Europe. Actually, no, it wasn't the Chinese that did this to Europe. This is what the Japanese did to us at Europe. Because they flooded the market with their little Datsuns and their little Hondas and their little Toyotas. And suddenly, Europe had to literally brush up their thinking and get clever. Admittedly, yes, they did bring in the import quotas, which is why you can't get this with the UK incentive to buy EVs, please. But yeah, however, speaking of Japanese cars, which were, let's be honest with you, though they would start on a cold, wet day, dynamically, this is not up to European standards. I have been screeching the wheels without even trying. It really does scream as it tries to pull itself around. And it's not got the handling that you'd expect from a big SUV. And certainly isn't up to European standards. So, yeah, there is that. But if you just drive it with your mates and you're going down to the beach, it will be fine.
Now, this is what I mean about the interior. You see, it's got everything here. We've got buttons, we've got drive mode, we've got buttons, we've got things here. Yeah, it all works. It's just a little bit clunky. And then we've got all this stuff which is like, yeah, it sort of works and just how you expect it. Admittedly, not all of its buttons, because they've got things on the touchscreen. It's really annoying. But if you just look here, I think you can see sort of the whole dashboard. It's not unpleasant, and it's got touches of a lot of cars. See, that's very much Audi from a couple of years ago, because they liked that whole vent, didn't they? But yeah, it's not bad. See, I'll be honest with you, because I was there talking to the chap from Skywell, and I was looking around and the matches are nice. And you know, I was like, I really want to take the piss, because we do. In England, we take the piss out of companies that we don't really know much about. And I was like, yeah, I really want to take the piss out of this, but you know what? I really can't. I can see why people are turning to the Chinese for their EVs. One is the price, two is what you get. You've got everything in there. You don't really probably want more. It's not as finessed. That's always a nice word. It's a good word, isn't it? Yeah, John Stewart, thanks very much. It's not as finessed as something mainstream and European, or even actually Koreans, because, you know, let's face it, Kia, Hyundai really are absolutely knocking it out of the park at the moment. It's just like, Jesus Christ. So I think my little RD badge has ruined my microphone. But yeah, so the Skywell BE11 or Bell, depending on how you want to read it. It is BE11. I'm taking the piss. Hooray, I can take the piss. I can take the piss. Sorry. Yeah, expect to see more of them on the road, because at this price, you'll be foolish to actually not consider it. I know, right? That is also if you don't really like driving. Because if you are a driving enthusiast, yeah. However, I'm here, I must actually let you know, because I've done something already, but I'm here with a professional driver, and this is sort of, you know, about chauffeurs and minicab drivers and taxi drivers. And yeah, will you see more of these on the cab rank? What do you bloody think? Taxi drivers, my old man was a taxi driver, and he didn't like spending money. So, yeah, right, you are going to see a lot of these on the hire market. I said it first. Actually, I might not have said it first. I think someone else might have said that, but you know, fuck it, I'm going to say it. Anyway, I'm walking away without saying goodbye. Mind you go, take care. I'll see you soon. Lifetime. The Chinese are invading. Brace yourselves, because it's happening. No, that was shit, wasn't it? That was shit. I'm going to do that again. Hang on. Oh, shut up. See what I mean about the beeps? And now the GoPro stopped working. GoPro. GoPro. It isn't. There's nothing aggressive on this. It's like, yeah. GoPro stopped recording.